Hello students, good morning to all. So today we will continue our discussion of lesson 1 since we are doing the revision of lesson 1. So yesterday we have discussed about the internet, the term internet, that what is the internet, and after that also we have discussed about the some components of the internet and World Wide Web triple W, and also we have discussed about that how this triple W work and the difference between the internet and the triple W World Wide Web. So in the continuation of that, so today we will discuss on the basic internet terminology, some words which are used in the internet. So see, first word is the server. It is a very well-known word, or we can say very popular word, server. So this server is also a program. Basically, server is also software, and this server is the software, the program, and this runs on a machine. Means it runs on a computer only. So on which machine this computer, this server runs? That is a computer only. So server is one type of computer, we can say a CPU, and is meant to provide services to the machines. As by the name of the server, it is clear that the server is for serving, means to provide the services. So, to whom this server provides the services? To the clients. And what is these clients? These clients are also the machine, like the computer or mobile, laptop, desktop, all other computers only. So this server is a program which provides the services to the clients, means to the other computer, which is connected to it. So in order to provide the services to the other computer, so server must be connected to that computer. So all the clients, whether mobile, laptop, desktop, they give their request, they send their request to the server, and the server processes this request and generates the response. Process the request means what for what the request you have sent. Suppose for any web page, you have sent the request. So they will find that web page on the server, and after that, getting that web page on the server, they will send the code of that server web page to the client with the help of the network. Now to the network, this entire code of that web page will be sent to the local client, to the client. Now the client browser will again execute that code sent by the server and create a web page for you. That's why the browser is needed in the computer, in the client, or in the mobile. Okay. So this communication between the client and server uses some protocol, that is the HTTP protocol, that is called the hypertext transfer protocol. So in the last class also I have discussed. So if you want to access any web page or website, so for accessing the web pages or any website, this HTTP protocol is to be followed by the servers or by the network providers. So this protocol is what set of rules, and set of rules means who has sent this request, now to whom it is sent the request, so how the server will give this reply, how the server will identify that the request to whom, which client it is generated, the response is also sent to that person only, to that very person only. So all these protocols, all this set of rules is called the HTTP protocol only. So this you will study in detail in the higher classes. So this HTTP is also a packet, one type of the information only. But this information related to the client and the server, means source and the destination. Here client is the source and the server is the destination. Next word is the client. A client is a computer system. This client is also a computer, which I have discussed just now. This client is also mobile, maybe a laptop, maybe a desktop. So client is a computer system which uses the network to access the remote services from the server. So if a client wants to access any service from the remote computer which is located at a very far place, suppose from India, you have sent the request to the computer which is located in the USA. So that server which is present in the USA, how it will respond, how it will entertain the request of the client, then with the help of the network only. So it carries out the client request to the server and displays the result sent by the server. So client sends the request to the server, and what the response server deliver to the client will display it on the screen. So that is the purpose of the client. So it accesses the application or information from the main server. Client is also known as node. So whatever the computers and devices, hardwares are connected over the network, each hardware is called a node. Next term is used web client. So what is this web client? Web client is also an application. We can say it is a software program. This web client will be a browser, Internet Explorer, Mozilla Firefox, Google Chrome. All these are the web client which is running on the local device, and your local device is the desktop, notebook, or computer, their mobile. So this web client is an application, and it runs on the local device that requests and use services provided by the web server. So it requests the web server for a web page, and it uses the services provided by the web server. Means it uses the HTML code. XML code means that is a web page code, and execute it and create a web page for the client. It is also known as the thin client because it is totally, we can say, dependent on the web server for fetching the information. So browser itself does not give any information. Browser is totally dependent on the server only. Whatever the code server sends, that HTML code browser is used to, that HTML file browser is used to execute and create a web page for the client. This web client and web server are two components of a connection. So client is any machine sending the request for information, and the server is responding to the information requested. So client is a machine by which we can say client is a medium through which we sends the request to the server, and the server respond to the client by sending the information, by sending the HTML files. So examples of web client are web browser, an email program, a chatting program, and file sharing program. All these are the examples of the web client. Next is the web browser. Another term. So this web browser is also a software application. This is also a program. Mozilla Firefox, Google Chrome is what? It is not a hardware, no? It is a software only. So it is also a program through which one searches and access the information from the World Wide Web, triple W. And as you all aware, that triple W is a network of different servers. For example, Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, Mozilla Firefox. Web page. Web page is a document which is written in the HTML, which I have discussed. That web server sends this HTML code only that is hosted on the internet. So this web page is a document written in the HTML language. That is the hypertext markup language. Now next word is the website. What is website? Website is a collection of interlinked web pages. So collection of many web pages are interlinked with each other with the help of the hyperlink in the website. As a book is a collection of many pages. Similarly, website is collection of many web pages. And this contains the written information located under a single domain name. Yes, every website has a single domain name like www.facebook.com. This is the domain name. URL. That is the Uniform Resource Locator. So this URL denotes the global address of the document. URL is the global address. So worldwide, many servers are present. Many worldwide triple W servers are there, and each server contains millions of we can say web pages and millions of websites. So a unique address is provided to each websites. That is the URL. Okay, so we can this URL denotes the global address of the documents and the other resources on the triple W. So the communication between the web user and the internet resource is possible by identifying the each resource on the internet in a standardized manner. So this is the URL only. So if we want to access any website, so we have to type the URL on the address bar of the browser. So when we type this URL and press the enter key, the request is sent to the server, corresponding server. So domain name. So basically, we use a domain name. We do not use the URL because URL is a address. This is of the 32-bit address or 64-bit addresses. So this we don't type it. It is very difficult to remember the 32-bit address of the URL. So we just only remember domain name. That is the facebook.com. Okay. So next is the web portal. Web portal is a gateway to the wide range of the internet services such as the email, search engine, forums, e-commerce, etc. So means whenever we are searching any information over the internet, so when we type a particular topic, so it display you the list of the uh, list of the links. We can say list of the links, and we are clicking on the each link to get the information. So that is the web portal only. So web portal is a page which provides you the different types of the links depend upon the ranking. So this is a gateway for the wide range of internet services. So email, search engine, forums, e-commerce, etc. All these are the web portal only. So over the web portal, you will get all type of the services. Okay, next is the blog or web blog. This blog is a frequently updated online personal journal or diary. So we create a on blog on a websites, that is called a web blog. So on this whatever the blog website you create, on that blog you can write your information, updated information, like a diary. You are used to write your every day to day activities or some important events what happened on a particular day, that you used to note it down on the diary. Similarly on the blog, whatever the incidents is happened day to day, or whatever the information you have acquired of some important information, that you can update it on the blog. It is easy to create website which consists of the signed and dated log of the individual posting. So here means dated log means on which day and what time you have written these things. Everything will be maintained like in the diary. Is a personal thing. Similarly, this blog is also a personal thing. Belongs to a particular individual. Blogger. So the person who is writing a blog, that is called a blogger, who regularly writes and updates the blog. Blogging. The act of writing a blog is called blogging. So writing blog, what? That is the blogging. Next, news group. This news group is also an online platform where people can exchange information on any topic. So this is also an online platform where we can initiate a discussion, and one person, this news group is on this group, many persons are connected to each other. So one person will initiate the discussion, another will give their comment, they will respond. So we can say this news group is an online platform where people exchange the information on any topic. Email, like over we are creating on the WhatsApp some group for exchanging the information. Similarly, the news group is also an online platform where the we create a group of the people of having common interest, people having common, we can say the views, the people having a common taste. Such type of the persons group we create, that is the news group. Email, electronic mail. This is electronic messaging system. Email is an electronic messaging system that allows one to send and receive letters and attachments, like the images, videos, and other files in real time. That is the email. So it is a very popular thing, like the Gmail, like the uh, so many mail services are there, and with the help of the mail, we are sending the messages, or we are sending the letters, the applications uh, to one person or more than one persons in a real time. Okay, so now we move to the next topic, email address. That is the email address. So we are sending an email to a particular address only. Na? So that is called the email address, electronic mail address. And this email address is containing three parts. See, the every email address has a three parts. As you can see here, the system. So this email address is a unique electronic address where emails are received, and every email address has two parts, that is the username and the domain name. And these two parts, username and the domain name, and the third part is the extension, that is the comes in the category of the domain name. So basically that I have told you that it has the three parts, the username, domain name, and the domain extension. Okay, so these two parts, username and domain name, is separated by the at the rate symbol. So here we write written the info at the rate kips dot in. This is the extension provide gives the information about the country in for India. Okay, now this web server is also classified into two categories: shared web server and dedicated web server. So dedicated web server means that is the for a particular. This is not shared by other. That is the dedicated web server belongs to particular industry or organization, and the shared web server, one web server is shared by many organizations. Okay, next is the web server. So see here, this let us know more shared web server. So the shared web server is a shared among different clients and utilizes more of its resources to support the user's traffic and thus affecting your website performance. So the shared web server, you are giving the services to the different clients. Okay, so many clients, so many we can say people's, their websites are present or stored on the shared web server. So different clients will take the services of that web server, that is the shared web server. So a server, this web server, a server is a program. A server is a program that runs on a machine and is used to provide services to the machine, to the client, which I discussed before also. So this every server accepts the request which comes from the client and process the request and generate the response and sends that information response to the client. So this communication between the client and server happens with the help of the HTTP protocol. This web server is also a type of server, means is a one category of server, one type of the server which is responsible for the providing the web content. So web servers basically stores only web pages, only HTML files. It primarily hosts the websites and allows the clients or the internet to access these sites. Okay, so all these web server is a type of server one. It is also a program present on the computer. So this web server are responsible for storing the web content only, not any other content, only web content, only the HTML files, not any other files. So the primary function of the web server is to store the web pages, process the web pages, and deliver the web pages to the client. This is the primary job of the web server: to store the web pages, to process the web pages, to deliver the web pages. Now the browser sends the request for a web page, and the web server in return searches for that request pages. So web server will search for that web pages what the client has sent the request, and if the search is successful, they have got that web pages, so they will send that HTML file to the client with the help of the network. So it scans the request sent by clients for any possible vulnerabilities and malware also. So this is also the job of the server. First, it will scan the request of the clients whether it request does not contain any virus. If it is not any virus, vulnerabilities or malware, then it will provide the secure access to the website data. Otherwise, it will not provide and prevents it from any unauthorized access. It also checks whether that person who has sent the request is authorized to take that information or not. So the web server takes the help of the additional server, which is called the application servers. So when the websites contain the dynamic data, so the job, means we can say the role of the application servers come into play when we are dealing with a dynamic website. So these servers provide one centralized storage space to store the files. And the server also helps the user in sharing resources and equipments like the printers, fax machines, and provide the internet access to all the authorized users. Next is the dedicated web server. So this dedicated web server is dedicated to your website and experience any amount of traffic without having to worry about the downtime. So that is a dedicated web server, means for a particular website only it is handling. So the number of the clients will be limited for that. Okay, next we'll discuss about the difference between the this server and the web server. So this see what is the basic difference between the server and web server. This is the important topic. So a server is a type of computer or device on a network. So over a network, what this server is a type of computer only, a type of device. And now first before that I have told you this server is a what a software. Yes, server is also a software. So server is a software which is stored on a computer on a CPU. So that whole thing along with the hardware CPU and the program what is stored inside it, that is the server. So server is a type of computer or device. So we can say yes, it is a computer. Server is a computer, and without software, without operating system, computer is nothing, just a simple machine. So a network that provides the services to machines connected to it. And web server is a program or a computer, and it is responsibility for providing the web contents. So this web server stores the web pages, processes the web pages, and delivers the web content in the form of the text, pictures, videos, and animations to the clients. Servers manage hardware and software resources in a network. Yes, server manages the hardware also and software resources also. But web server is designed to serve only the HTTP requests. It does not manage any hardware. That is the one difference. So web server manages only the HTTP request on the web browser and responds with the and its reply will be also a HTTP response only, such as sending back an HTML page. So a server can be shared or dedicated server, but a web server is a dedicated server only. Server can be shared server, dedicated server, but web server is a dedicated, just only deals with the websites only. So a server provides access to the server side logic, means server applications using the languages. So if you want to communicate with the server, you have to use the server side language that is called the backend languages, and that languages example Java, PHP, and C has. Now it can only display the static HTML content on the web browser. That is the web server. It displays only the HTML, static HTML content. Various types of the servers are application servers, file server, print server, communication server, domain server. This depends what type of the files containing. File servers, many type of the files it is storing. Application server, many types of the software maybe it will store. Print server, many computers, many printers will be connected. Communication servers, so many computers will be connected. We can say with the communication servers, channels are connected, and domain server. It will store the addresses of the each website. That is the domain server. And some common web servers are the like Apache server. It is a software, not a computer. Microsoft IIS server, IBM Lotus, and Sun Java system. So these are the popular web server. So this is all for the today students. In the next class, we will continue our discussion about the topic website and the components of websites. So this is all for today. Thank you for your kind attention.